suckled me at her teat for 3 months. Thought I was a baby. That's how I got so strong. Giant's milk.
What's up, Rad Lads? Welcome to Radioactive Recap, your radioactive recap for shows, movies, and video games. I'm your host, Adrian A., and today we're covering Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2. Titled A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, this is the 69th episode of the series overall, and the last before heading into Winterfell. A little late on covering this episode, but hey, I'm new. If you missed my first video covering Episode 1, you can click the card above and check it out. Anyway, on with the show. Our friend Jaime Lannister stands front and center of Queen Bee, Jon, the Starks, and their council. Daenerys looks like she's ready to bite Jaime's head off, and I don't mean in the sexy way. She regales us with a bedtime story of Jaime, his betrayal of the former king, and how he murdered her father, while delivering a truly Kill Bill-esque promise of what they do when they found Jaime. She calls out Jaime on the lack of an army his sister/lover promised to send to the north, which doesn't sit well with the others. Sansa chimes in and doesn't think Jaime can be trusted either, and for the first time it looks like her and Daenerys have something they agree on. Tyrion tries to defend his brother, but it only makes him look worse, since it was he who negotiated with Cersei in the first place and believed that she would send an army up north. It also doesn't help that Jaime just won't apologize for any of it. In his eyes, he'd do it all over again for his family.
The things we do for love.
He said it. Jaime at the very least fills them in on Cersei's plan to deal with whoever's left standing after the battle, and has sworn to fight for the living, as it's no longer a matter of loyalty, but of survival. Brienne steps up and vouches for the guy, as he's vouched for her in the past. That settles it for Sansa, and she agrees that he should stay in Winterfell. Jon needs more feet on the ground, so he votes for him to live as well. The mini-trial ends, but just before moving on, we can see that Jon is avoiding Daenerys like the plague. As they exit, Tyrion gets his ass chewed out by the Dragon Boss Lady, which is kind of painful to see because it definitely looks like my boy Tyrion's been dropping the ball lately. Over at the Forge, we see Gendry, and it looks like Arya wants to bite. Turns out Gendry's been slacking on her new weapon, but after a quick knife trick, Gendry gets straight to work. Jaime finds Bran in the Godswood and tries to apologize for the person that he used to be. But Bran suggests that he's not the person he used to be either, and he squashes any beef between them. Later, he bumps into Tyrion, and the brothers can't walk more than 10 feet without getting dagger eyes from the people of Winterfell. They're pretty salty, about Ned Stark and all the other Starks that have died since the beginning of the show. The brothers spend a moment reflecting on their situation, their sister's betrayal, and their possible future as dead men, when Jaime spots Brienne supervising combat training. We catch Podrick, who's not the same Podrick from the beginning of the series, as he handles a sword with true skill. It brings a smirk to Brienne's face to see her squire come so far. Jaime tries to kick it with Brienne and start a casual conversation, but this isn't the Jaime she knows. Where are the insults, Jaime? Where's the smug Jaime Lannister we've come to know and love? Looks like Jaime wants to ride alongside Brienne and fight with her, but she can't really process what all that means and gets the fuck out of there ASAP. In another part of the fortress, we see the Khaleesi and Jorah have a heart-to-heart about Tyrion and his importance as the hand of the queen. After a second piece of advice, Daenerys goes to see Sansa, who's busy running it. Like straight running it. She wants to try mending bridges instead of burning them down, and work together with Sansa. But Sansa knows that when this war is over, their allegiances lie in different places. Their meeting gets cut short with the return of Winterfell's wayward son, Theon Greyjoy. He explains his sister's absence and pledges his allegiance to Winterfell. Sansa embraces him with open arms, bringing Theon one step closer to redemption. Nice. The Onion Knight is honoring his name, as Sir Davos serves food to the people and gives them general direction. Saving him from almost adopting another facially disfigured kiddo, Gilly swoops in and empowers the little girl by tasking her with protecting the crypt. You go, girl. A horn sounds, which sends Jon running. But no worries, bud. It's just the arrival of your pal. You're great too, Tormund. They give Jon and the others the 411 on what happened at Blaster. With the impending attack of the Night Army imminent, Jon makes it clear that they're not going to win this war in a fistfight against them, not with their numbers or their durability. They have to be smart and attack the leader, who Jon knows is sustaining the entire army. The problem is how. The problem really is, how does he even know that? It's kind of a BS plan, and he only kind of assumes this after an encounter that he had with one of the White Walkers, but I guess that's enough to risk the entire kingdom and the living. You go, Jon. Bran explains to them that the Night King is actually after him. See, Bran is a living, breathing history book of the entire human race. So by destroying him, he's essentially destroying all of history. He also just now mentions that the Night King has been tracking him using a mark that he left on Bran in an earlier season. I gotta say, I really don't understand how he left that detail out. The Night King could have come anytime and just taken Bran. Like, what was the logic there? With this info and Bronn volunteering to be bait, they devise a plan to have Bronn in the Godswood to lure the Night King and his army in. Theon volunteers to protect him, which probably means that's where he's gonna die. We'll see next episode. As Tyrion lays down the rest of the plan, including his position in all of this, Daenerys stops him in his tracks. She gives him a couple of backhanded compliments before admitting that she needs her hand and wants him down in the crypt. Don't worry, Tyrion. Pretty sure you're gonna be seeing some action in the crypt. The safest place in all of Winterfell. Yeah, good luck with that. With the meeting adjourned, Jon and Daenerys are the last two at the table, but it doesn't stop him from completely blowing her off and dismissing himself with barely a few words between them. Jon's got a lot of guts to be ghosting the Dragon Queen. Things enter a sort of interesting lull towards the end of the night. Grey Worm and Missandei discuss their futures and how they'd rather spend the rest of their days elsewhere. Sam, the good friend that he is, checks in on Jon, and the Lannister brothers have a drink by the fire while bringing up dear old dad. Before long, Brienne and Podrick, Sir Davos, and Tormund join in, and it doesn't take long before Tyrion tries to get everyone hammered. And then, completely out of nowhere, completely unsolicited, we get the origin story to end all origin stories. So Tormund decides to tell us how he got the name Giantsbane. Apparently, he killed a giant, then climbed into bed with his wife, and started to suck her giant teeth, as he would say, for 3 months. And apparently that's how he got all his strength. Just take it back. Just take it back. Just take it back. Just take it back. We see Arya hanging out with the Hound before she decides she'd rather not spend the last of her days with her former captor, and instead decides to leave for some target practice. While there, Gendry finally shows up with the new lance he promised Arya. The two get to talking and swap some stories. It's there that Arya finds out Gendry is actually Robert Baratheon's bastard son. What comes next is a moment I never thought I'd see in Game of Thrones. You know what? I think I'll just let Sansa cover it.
Honor of Easter, I guess Game of Thrones wanted the storyline to have a little Easter bunny hopping into that pussy. And that's the tea.
And I'm just gonna throw this up. We get a truly special moment for Brienne. After being mistaken for a knight, Jaime decides to make it so. It's right there in that moment that Brienne breaks the glass ceiling and becomes the first ever woman knight.
Arise, Brienne of Tarth, a knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
You go, girl.
Sir Brienne of Tarth, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Sam bumps into the Mormonts, Joran and Lyanna, who are having a heated match about Lyanna's decision to fight instead of staying in the crypt. Lyanna's not having it. She knows her place is on the field, and I got a lot of respect for it. Sam takes the opportunity after Lyanna leaves to give Jorah his family's sword, Heartsbane, knowing he'll put the big-ass sword to better use than he would, and Jorah accepts the sword with honor. We're starting to come to the end of the episode. We get a montage to a breathtaking performance by none other than Podrick himself. Maybe this is how he got it for free at the brothel. The montage takes us through characters resting and spending time with friends and family, while others continue to prepare. We see a passionate kiss between Grey Worm and Missandei, one that had me worried we might not see these two together again. Fingers crossed I'm wrong. Back at the crypt, Jon tries to spend some quality time with dear old mom, Lyanna Stark. when Auntie Daenerys shows up. She talks about her brother and not understanding how he's said to be so kind, but then go on to capture and rape Lyanna Stark. Well, that's Jon's daddy you're talking about, Dany, and he's about to set you straight and end your whole career. Jon tells Daenerys the truth about everything. Blown away, she doesn't look like she takes it so well. Unlike Jon, she's skeptical of his brother and Sam's findings, but knows that it makes Jon the last living male heir of the Targaryen line, complete with a claim to the Iron Throne. Well, I guess we're saved by the bell, or the horn in this instance. As the dramatic score starts rolling in, we get one last shot of the White Walkers lined up within eyesight of Winterfell. And that's it. Whew! What an episode. You're ready for the Battle of Winterfell. Kind of, sorta. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button below. It really helps my channel. And consider subscribing. We're unveiling our first ever podcast episode soon, so be sure to keep an eye out on that. Until next time, I'm Adrian A. Later.